Hi, sixth graders. This video is on adding and subtracting fractions. Make sure you label the top of your page with adding and subtracting fractions. Our learning target is being able to add and subtract fractions with like and unlike denominators. Before we start with the lesson, we have a few vocab words that I want to make sure that you know. So we've already talked about improper fractions and mixed numbers. So you do not need to rewrite those down in your notebook unless you want to or you need a refresher. But remember, improper fraction is when the numerator is greater than the denominator. So some examples are 4/3 or 24/9 because the top number is greater than the bottom number. Mixed number is a whole number with a fraction. So like 3.5 or 21 9/10. We have a number with a fraction that is not improper. These three vocab words I would like you to write down in your notebook. Like fractions have the same denominators. So like 3/9 and 7/9 would be like fractions, and then unlike fractions would have different denominators. So for example, 2/3 and 4/5. And then least common denominator is the smallest number that both denominators can go into, which we will talk about in a little bit on the next slide. So pause and write these words and definitions down. Just a mini review and reminder of how to change from improper to mixed and mixed to improper. So if we have 14/5, remember that we take our 5, our denominator, and we ask ourselves how many times does it go into 14? So it goes into 14 2 full times with 4 left over because 2 times 5 is 10. And then 10 plus 4 is 14, so that gets me the 4. And then we keep the denominator. So it'd be 2 and 4/5. And then remember, if we have a mixed number, to get to an improper fraction, we take our denominator, multiply it by the whole number. So we would do 4 times 2 is 8. And then add the numerator, which is 3. So we would have 8 plus 3 is 11. Keep the denominator, so it'd be 11/4. So when we add and subtract fractions, the first thing we need to do is rewrite the fractions with a common denominator, meaning that they have to both have the same denominator. Then we add or subtract the numerators, keep the denominator the same, and then write the answer in simplest form. So these two examples I would like you to write down in your notebook and follow along with me as I go. So we have 1/2 plus 1/6. So I ask myself, what is the number that 2 and 6 both go into? Well, 2 can go into 6. So I'm going to rewrite 1/2. I'm going to rewrite it like this as in 6th. So I know if I multiply 2 times 3, it'll take me to 6th. So then I have to do the same to my numerator. So I'm multiplying them both by 3. So I rewrite it as 3/6 plus 1/6. Now I just add or subtract the numerators. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Keep the denominator the same, 4/6, and then I simplify. I know they can both be divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we would have 2/3. If we have 11/12 minus 3/8, I'm going to rewrite it here. And now I ask myself, what's a number that 12 and 8 can both go into? Well, I know that 12 and 8 can both go into 24. So 12 times 2 is 24, and I have to do the same to the top. And then 8 times 3 is 24. Do the same to the top. So I'm going to rewrite it before I even try to subtract anything. So I'd have 22 24ths minus 9 24ths. Now I can subtract, because we're subtracting, so we have to make sure we do the correct operation. 22 minus 9 would be 13. Keep the denominator the same, which is 24. So my answer would be 13/24, and then that is in simplest form. Here's a few more examples that you can write down if you would like. Otherwise, you can just watch me do them. And then the next slide, there's going to be some problems for you to try on your own and then check your work. So we have 10/3 minus 13/5. I know 3 and 5 can both go into 15. That would be my least common denominator. So I know that if I do 3 times 5, that would take me to 15th. So I have to do the same to my denominator. And then I do 5 times 3 over here would take me to 15th. and then 13 times 3. So I'm going to rewrite before I try to do this in my head. So 50 fifteenths minus 39 fifteenths. 50 minus 39 is 11, and then I keep the denominator the same. 11 fifteenths, that's already in simplest form, so then I keep it like that. 4/5 plus 1/3, well 5 and 3 again, we can change to fifteenths. So I'm going to do this 4/5 both times 3, and then 1/3 both times 5, because that gets me to 15 and that gets me to 15. So we'd have 12 fifteenths plus 5 fifteenths would be 12 plus 5 is 17. So 17 fifteenths, that's an improper fraction, which is never in simplest form. So now I need to change it to a mixed number. 15 can go into 17 one time with 2 left over, and then I keep my denominator the same. So 1 and 2 fifteenths. Then we have 1/3 plus 1/2. I know 3 and 2 can both go into 6. So 1/3 I'm going to do times 2. 1/2 I'm going to do times 3, because remember, whatever I need to do to get the denominator to the common denominator that I'm trying to get to, and then I do the same thing above to the coordinating numerator. So rewrite this as 2/6, and then rewrite this as 3/6. So 3 plus 2 is 5, keep the denominator the same, and I have 5/6. And then last one for this page, 3/4 minus 1/3. I know that 4 and 3 can both go into 12. So I'm going to do times 3 over here, times 4 over here. So that gets me to 9/12 minus 4/12. 9 minus 4 is 5. Keep the denominator as 12. So 5/12. If you were to change it to a different denominator, it would still work out. It's just that you would get an answer that would need to be simplified. All right, I want you to try these 3 on your own. So pause the video, do it in your notebook, and then come back and check your work. So we have 8/9 minus 2/3. I know that 3 can go into 9, so I'm just going to leave my 8/9 as it is. And then I can do times 3 over here. So 8/9 minus 6/9. 8 minus 6 is 2. Keep the denominator 2/9. 5/6 minus 3/8. 6 and 8 can both go into 24. So 6 times 4, and then 8 times 3. So let's rewrite it. 20 24ths minus 9 24ths. 20 minus 9 is 11. Keep the denominator, so we get 11 24ths. 7/8 plus 3/4. So I know 4 can go into 8, so I'm going to change this to 8s. So rewrite it as 7/8 plus 6/8. I get 13/8, which is not in simplest form because it's an improper fraction. 8 can go into 13 once with 5 left over. Keep the denominator, so I have 1 and 5/8. And that's all I have for you. So make sure you have your notes with you the next time in math class. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.